My son actually started improv when he was about 14. He took classes with Matt Calford, who is the Jacksonville preeminent improv troupe, and really loved that. And I ended up being an improv mom for about 9 years. And then he moved to Chicago to pursue improv, and he's my only child. So when he moved 1,100 miles away, that left me with like, what do I do now? And a friend from high school, coincidentally, said that she had tried improv and it had been the most fun she'd ever had, and suggested I try it, not having any idea that my son had been doing improv for that period of time. So I asked him, I was like, what do you think about your mom trying improv? And he said, I think you should have done that a long time ago. So I started classes. I was in class, my level 1, with Patrick Dalton and Spencer Ruizzo. The three of us all started level 1 with Matt Calford together. And James Chafin, who is another comedian here in Jacksonville, was in level 3. And he would come in at the end of class and announce that, hey, there's this comedy open mic at Rain Dogs right after class. If anybody wants to come out and support us, we'd love to have the audience. So at one point, Patrick and Spencer decided that they were going to go ahead and give stand-up a try. And then they kept saying, you need to do this, you need to do this. So I went and supported them at their shows for a couple of months. And then finally, when June came that year, they were like, okay, enough's enough. And I was like, all right, by the end of this month, I will get on stage. And my first time on stage was June 29th. So I pushed it as far as I could. But once I did, I was absolutely hooked. As a mom and a wife for as long as I had been at that point, I had spent so much of my time and my world giving to other people and making sure other people were taken care of. And for some reason, when I was on that stage, it was kind of all about me. I got to decide what we were going to talk about, what we were going to do, where the conversation with the audience was going to go. And that felt really good, and it also feels good when you get that positive reaction back from the audience. That's that affirmation. No, these things you think about and these ideas you have are interesting, and we appreciate that you shared them. So that makes all the difference in the world. That's why bombing sucks so much. If you eliminate the legends that we all love, the Carlins, the Hickses, all of that, anything Greg Giraldo ever did. I am a huge Giraldo fan. I hear him on Comedy Central Radio, and I just am overcome with sadness and then anger that he's not here anymore. I absolutely loved, most recently, Anthony Jeselnik's Thoughts and Prayers. To see someone do their comedy for like 2/3 of the special, I don't know if you've seen it yet, and then get real with the audience about what it's like to be a comedian and to be a public person for the last third of that special was something that I just felt was amazing. It was definitely one of my most favorite recent specials. Gary Goldman's In This Economy is one I can watch over and over again. I absolutely love Goldman. I'm actually going next weekend to Orlando to see him at the Phillips Center. But it's Segura is another favorite. I love both of Tom's most recent specials. But when I think about the ones that really stand out recently, it's those. If you go back to like my childhood, Richard Pryor Live at the Sunset Strip, anything Carlin touched, I mean, all those things kind of bleed into you. Eddie Murphy. I think all those, we absorb all those little building blocks along the way because I feel like all of us have had a love of comedy no matter how long we've actually been doing it. And I think that somehow you absorb all those parts along the way and they build what ends up finally being what you take on stage. Sketches, I actually, my favorite troupe is a group out of Chicago. They were an improv troupe called Cook County Social Club. Several of the guys in Cook County also had a group called My Mans. The guys also did stuff individually. Greg Hess has some videos on YouTube where he does a character named Max Gerber. The Max Gerber videos, I actually just pulled them up to watch them again recently because they're just brilliant for me. The My Mans, Tim Robinson was part of both of those groups, Cook County and My Mans. He ended up on SNL, and that was a lot of fun to have someone whose career you had followed end up on the show that you've watched your whole life. So sketch-wise, those guys. Sitcom-wise, I'm a huge Friends fan. That's always been one of my favorites. I go back more to the older stuff. Cheers, Friends, Everybody Loves Raymond. I love Everybody Loves Chris, too, or Everybody Hates Chris. And then comedy movies. I will watch anything. I really will. What's weird is today's the anniversary of me having gone to New York City to have been an extra in Mike Birbiglia's Don't Think Twice. So that movie is a favorite of mine right now for lots of different reasons. But in watching it, it's about an improv troupe, but it could be about stand-ups. It could be about so many things, and I think it's my new favorite, even though it just came out. And Hunt for the Wilder People. I don't know if you saw that. Quiet little movie. It was just in indie theaters. It was here at Sunray. Absolutely fantastic. So when that comes out on Netflix, try to check it out, because Hunt for the Wilder People was one of those brilliant movies that you just love from beginning to end. Gary Goldman. If I could go on tour with any comedian, it would be Gary Goldman. I would also love to go on tour with Kathleen Madigan or Maria Bamford. I think one of those two would be amazing also. But for some reason, people don't like to put female comics together, so my chances might be better with Goldman. Let's go with Kyle Kinane. I'd like to say I could take it from Jeff Ross. We'll go ahead and put Jeff on the list. Kyle Kinane, Jeff Ross, Alive. Anthony Jeselnik, I would probably want on there. Greg Giraldo for sure, and Patrice O'Neill. And most of all, it would just be to be in the room with all those people at once. I think I'd take any mean things they had to say about me just to be able to sit there. I've been reading Joe Randazzo's book right now, where he talks about lots of different branches of comedy. I do have a podcast that I'm getting ready to start called Craft Beer Comedy. It's not about craft beer, though. It's basically craft, beer, comedy. So it'll be recorded in brew houses around Jacksonville and in any cities I'm lucky enough to travel to. And I will be doing crafts with comedians while we drink beer and talk comedy. So I would at some point love to do a comedy book about crafts. So that's my book idea that I have growing. But the podcast will be kicking off hopefully before the end of the year. I'd love to say that I will be going to a second-tier city. Chances are good. I will be here for a while, nurturing the Jacksonville comedy scene and hoping to take pleasure in watching the other comedians rise up. I think we have an amazing scene here in Jacksonville. I'm super proud to be part of it. and the talent here is. I think everybody sleeps on us. They don't know what this city has going on, and I would love nothing more than to spend the next 5 years letting everyone else know what great comedians we have in Jacksonville and what a cool city it can be. After a set is over, I just want people to have laughed and to feel a little bit better about their life than they did before they came in to the show that night. I've had some really unbelievable experiences with audience members. You don't realize how much something stupid that you wrote to say because you thought it was funny can touch someone else at the exact right moment. And that's probably been the biggest surprise of this for me, is the people who come up and are almost emotional after a show to let you know, you made a difference somehow in what they do. So those nights are the ones that I do all the other nights for, if that makes sense. Online, I'm on Twitter at Burning Karma. I am also on Instagram at Burning Karma, and I'm on Snapchat at Burning Karma. I have a Facebook page for my comedy, Christina Schriver, and Schriver is SCHRIVER. So they can find me pretty much all the big ones, and eventually there will be a big Pinterest account for the craft beer comedy. That's where individual tutorials and things like that for the crafts that we do with the comedians will be posted. Hi, my name is Christina Schriver. Please check out my interview on acutiepie.com. See you there.